Hey everyone, so now we break down the nutrition label a little bit deeper into the ingredient list. And I'm going to share a graphic with you that I'm going to also share in the group so you'll be able to print it out, save it, however you want. It's going to tell you some basics about what to look for, especially what to avoid on your nutrition label. And I'm going to show you a multitude of products, different things to look for on the nutrition label when it comes to the ingredient list. And there's some definite buzzwords that you want to avoid. So just like before, I'm going to screen share. And I'm going to first start with the graphic. And these are 9 ingredients to avoid in processed food. You really want to look for artificial colors, artificial flavorings, and I'll show you how to look for those. Artificial sweeteners, and this is things like, I can't even say that word, aspartame, equal, Nutraceut, saccharin, sucralose, Splenda, sweet and low, sorbitol. You need to avoid all of those things. Bentonate preservatives, you're going to be looking for those. BVOs, high fructose corn syrup, MSGs, Alestra, which I don't think there's very much on the market anymore, and then shortening hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils. So this is palm, soybean, and others. One of the other things that is not on here that I highly recommend avoiding is soy. And soy is a process. I'm not talking about edamame. I'm not talking about tofu, because you can find some really great tofu brands out there. I'm talking about when soy becomes so highly processed, it's highly GMO, just so you know, and it becomes a cheap filler. So you see it in a lot of places, and I'm going to show you how to look for that as well. So let's start with that Kraft macaroni and cheese that I showed you before. We're going to look down here at the ingredient label. You can see right here, enriched macaroni product. Immediately, it says enriched. That means it's been A, processed, and 2, it's been enriched with things because they've now processed it so far, it doesn't hold any of the qualities, nutritional qualities that it started with. So they have to add those things back in. So they do wheat flour. Now, they'll notice it doesn't say whole wheat flour because it's not whole anymore. It's white flour. They've added niacin back in. They've added iron back in. All of these things, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, folic acid, they've added those back on because they processed it and they no longer contain those nutritional or those vitamins and minerals. And then the cheese sauce mix has some whey, milk fat, milk protein concentrate, salt, and then it has a bunch of other stuff that right here, this is the ones I wanted to show you. Yellow 5 and yellow 6, artificial. Anytime it has a color followed by a number, artificial. So you want to stay away from that. Highly processed, artificial. So not so good, right? Kraft macaroni and cheese. So let's go back to that bread that I showed you. The ingredient list is right here. Now, it's not considered completely clean because it's not 5 ingredients or less, but you can see organic whole grain wheat flour, organic sprouted wheat flour, water, organic evaporated cane syrup, organic honey, organic sprouted wheat berries, oats. Everything says organic in front of it. It has to be in order to be certified organic. And everything's whole. Everything is something that you can pronounce. There's no funky additives to this. This is real. You can already see that they don't use GMOs in their products anyway. But this is a really great product, and it's why we choose that in our family. Now, something else. How about peanut butter? Who uses Skippy? Now, we don't any longer. My husband had a hard transition, I'll be honest with you. But once I really showed him the nutrition label, so Skippy doesn't have a whole lot of ingredients down here. Roasted peanuts, first ingredient, right? What's the second ingredient? Sugar. So sugar isn't artificial, but when it's the second ingredient, that is not good. Sugar should never be in the first 5 ingredients. And so that's something you really want to look for. If it's the second ingredient, put it back and go for the all-natural peanut butter. Hydrogenated vegetable oils. Remember on our ingredients to avoid hydrogenated. So stay away from that. And this one happens to be cottonseed, soybean. Again, stay away from soy and rapeseed. So, and then there's some salt. Peanut butter, even all-natural peanut butter has salt in it. So that's not a big deal. But you definitely want to put the Skippy back and go for the all-natural. How about all these amazing fat-free, sugar-free, low-calorie. What does their nutrition label look like? Well, first off, it's giant, right? These are some sugar-free chocolate chip cookies, and it's just huge, right? So enriched flour, again, enriched means highly processed. It's white, and they've had to add things back in because it's been processed. Vegetable oil right there, soybean, palm, and palm kernel. So soybean, you'd really need to stay away from. So TBHQ for freshness, right there, TBHQ, you want to stay away from that. Sugar-free chocolate chip flavoring, which right there is going to have some nasty little things on it. Soy, everything right there. Stay away from this, stay away from this. Sorry, I can't highlight. It's doubled up on this. So all of these that you cannot say, stay away from. Sorbitol, remember that one? Right here, artificial sweetener. So you definitely want to put these back. Soy is on here multiple times, which is just makes me sucralose, another artificial sweetener. So it's definitely, the reason they're sugar-free is because they don't have true sugar in them. They have artificial sweeteners. They have to make them taste good somehow. Fat-free, same thing. They have to make it taste good somehow. They usually add sugar or artificial sweeteners or artificial flavorings to make those things taste better. So if it says sugar-free or fat-free or low-calorie, put it back. It's better to go with the full fat or the full calorie and use less, or find an alternative that is healthier. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a couple supplements. I hope it makes sense. I mean, it's really just reading the nutrition labels. If you can't pronounce many of the ingredients, it's highly processed. If you have sugar or high fructose corn syrup as one of the first ingredients, put it back. If it has any of these crazy soy words, put it back. Like, it's really imperative to look for things like this, that you can pronounce everything, that there's no funky words, there's no artificial colors, there's none of that yellow 5 or. So let's take a look at a couple supplements. So let's look at, I'm gonna look at our Shakeology first because it's something I showed you before. So again, everything down here, these are the superfoods, these are the ingredients, and everything is whole. It's something, you may not be able to pronounce some of these, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it basically breaks it down. It tells you exactly what it is. So goji berry, it's going to tell you what the actual true phylum name is. If you're unsure, then find phylum and genus name. So if any of you guys are science buffs. So if you're unsure, just Google it. It'll tell you what it is, honestly, in many of these things. You can also see down here other ingredients: natural sweetener blend, non-GMO, fructose, and stevia. So stevia is a natural sweetener. It's from a plant base. That's how we get our Shakeology to taste a little bit sweeter, is with a natural sweetener, not an artificial sweetener. And you can see non-GMO. Natural chocolate flavor, so it comes right from the cocoa beans. You can see cocoa right there, first ingredient. And then it has some of these gums. These are just to kind of hold it together. Those are actually all natural as well. So then let's take a look at a supplement. This is basically a not something I use personally, but I have a lot of friends who use it. But it is a pre-workout or an energizer. So it's similar to like a 5-hour energy or something along those lines, but it's a powder form. So just looking at this, we're going to look at the ingredient label only. So some of the first words are right there, like maltodextrin, like that. We already know that that's probably not a good thing. Silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide is those little packets that you find in your like clothing or your shoes. They keep the odors away, those little packets that say do not eat because it's poisonous. Yeah, that's silicone dioxide. Sucralose, artificial, right there. And then they do have some beetroot extract and some natural flavors. But sucralose does have artificial sweetener, and then it has something that is not healthy for our body, and then maltodextrin. So lots of things. I'm going to post this for you guys so you can see it. And it kind of tells you why I think these things are bad, why it's used, and then, you know, what you're looking for. And we can get a more detailed list for you guys as well. But definitely these are the high high priority things to avoid in your food. So I hope that helped broke down the ingredient list and give you some buzzwords to really look for. Try to stay away from artificial sweeteners, artificial colors, artificial flavors. Try to stay away from soy, high fructose corn syrup, added sugar. If sugar is one of the first ingredients, even though it's natural, stay away from it. It's the second ingredient. You need to back away from it. So I get a little riled up about nutrition because I've learned, I've lived this, I've done this. I used to be the other way. I used to not care about nutrition labels, and it's so important for our health. And I feel so much better since we've taken all that crap out of our system. And my kids, I know that I'm giving them the best now. Do they still eat macaroni and cheese? Yes, but I now have chosen an organic macaroni and cheese that doesn't have any artificials. It has no GMOs, and so that's really, really big for me. And so they still get those little fun things that every other kid gets. It's just that I've chosen a healthier option. Do I pay a little bit more for it? Yes. But in my eye, that's better than setting them up for failure and not having a healthy lifestyle. So I hope that helps you guys, and I look forward to answering any questions you have. Of course, always post below this video if you have questions, and I will talk to you all soon.